Okay, good morning, guys. Looks like, okay, I guess I'm on. All right. Good morning. Hopefully, you guys are having a wonderful day. All right, let's see if anyone's checking in here. All right, about the project, or we're talking about the muscular system. All right, so good morning. If you want to say hello, hopefully your day's going well. Okay, we'll be talking about the muscular system today and what that entails, and talk about some muscular injuries and illnesses as well. All right, hello. Looks like we got Alex in here. Thanks for checking in this morning. Good morning, Chris. Thanks for checking in as well. All right, we'll be talking about the muscular system and the project. Will be due Friday. This is your last project of this year so far, plus any of the missing work. There is no brain pop this week, just the project, and there's about 12 assignments in Power School, so make sure you are have those all completed by Friday. So all missing work will be due by the end of this week. Good morning. Looks like we have Gus in here too. Thanks, Gus, for checking in. Thank you. All right, so we got Gus, Chris, Alex. Thanks for checking in this morning. Anybody have any questions about the muscular system right now? Hopefully, a chance to watch the video that we put out on Monday. It went over some things on the three types of muscle cells. Um, those were smooth muscles, those were cardiac muscles, and they were the third one. Drawing a blank here. What was the third one? Smooth muscle, oh, skeletal muscle as well. Okay. All right. So who could tell me what is a muscle, first of all? Anyone want to try that? What is a muscle for this morning here? What is a muscle? If there's no questions to start off the bat here, what is a muscle? Who can answer? What is a muscle on what that is? Anybody want to try that? If not, I'm just going to go ahead with an answer there on what a muscle is. Hi, Veryl. Thanks for checking in this morning too. What is a muscle? And talking about the muscular system here. There's no questions with the project. I'm just going to kind of talk about some things on the muscular system. So, what is a muscle? Anybody? Veryl, you want to get a shot? Okay, and Achilles. Okay, that's more of a tendon. All right, looks like you mentioned that. All right. All right, a muscle is made of strong tissue and contract in an orderly way. So it's basically strong tissue that's contracting. All right, so the muscular system is made up of several, is made of different types of muscles and has several functions for the muscular system. So all muscle tissue are made of cells that contract. Okay, like when you flex an arm or a leg. All right, when the muscles of the muscles when the cells of the muscles contract, the muscle tissue becomes shorter, so it kind of shrinks up. All right, and the muscle tissue returns to the original length when it's relaxed. So when it's relaxed, it goes back to regular relaxation, but it becomes shorter, it kind of contracts, okay, when that muscle comes close into one another, okay? All right, any questions so far? All right, so continuing on, some functions. Who could tell me what are some functions? We mentioned these from the other day. What are some functions of muscles? Tell me, what are some functions of muscles? What are some functions of muscles? Okay, hi Kyle. Thanks for checking in. I'm asking the question here. What are some functions of muscles? What do they do? What are some, I mean, what are some of their functions? What are some of the ones we talked about for Monday? Just as a review. Don't forget we do have project due by Friday. If you can get in earlier, that's better. Okay, well, just some functions in case you can't remember from the other day. Many of their muscles help you move. Okay, so movement's very important. So most of these muscles are attached to bone, and these muscles make your skeletons move. Okay, so that's help with the movement along with the skeletal system. All right, so when the muscles contract, then move bones. Okay, so they help move. So this movement can be fast, so such as when you run. This also can be slow, such as when you stretch. So that can be a function there as movement. Other functions, you have many muscles in your body that are not attached to bones, like your heart, muscles in your stomach, blood cells, and so on. Would be some of those. Muscles also help for stability. Okay, keeping your posture straight and so on. So muscles are attached to bones to support your body and help you keep balance. Okay, so remember, tendons attach muscles to bones, and tendons work with muscles to keep your joints in place when your body moves. So tendons also help hold your body in a correct posture or shape. So they kind of keep you in shape that way there too. Okay. All right, so those are some stabilities. Stability, movement, tendons, like I said, are strong, flexible enough, and enable the joints to move. Okay. What's another function? Another one here. We said movement. We said stability. What else could we say is another function of muscles? How they're important, or why they're important. Okay. All right. So I'm going to mention another one here. Another function would be protection. Muscles protect your body, so they cover most of your skeleton. And muscles also cover most of the organs inside your body as well. So muscles are like a layer of padding. They surround your abdomen, chest, and back and protect your internal organs as well. Okay. So another function, how they're important, is they regulate our temperature. Okay, so temperature regulation. So they help us keep warm. All right, so your muscular system helps your body keep internal temperature within a certain range. So I'm sure you felt cold or started to shiver before. So shivering is muscles rapidly contracting. Okay, this changes chemical energy to thermal energy, which we talked about when we were talking about physical science there. Okay, chemical to thermal energy. And the release of thermal energy helps maintain your body's temperature that way too. Okay. All right. Looks like we got Soraya in here too. Hi, Soraya. Or not Soraya. Sam. Thanks for checking in. We got Sam. We got Kyle, Veril, Gus, Chris, and Alex. So, any questions so far? Talking about how muscles are important and functions of muscles. So, I went over movement, stability, protection. Now, temperature regulation is another one I was just talking about, how it keeps us cool. So, it's important because of a human body's temperature must stay around 37 degrees Celsius in order for the body to properly function. So muscles also change chemical energy to thermal energy during exercise when we work out. That's why you feel warm after physical activity or start to sweat. Okay? All right, from working out. All right, just as a review, 3 types of muscles. This is relating to your project as well. You're creating a Venn diagram. Remember, Venn diagrams are those 3 circles. Okay, so there's like a middle circle and 2 outer circles. So in the middle, you're comparing skeletal muscle cells, skeletal, um, cardiac, and smooth muscle cells. Those are the 3 types of muscle cells that we learned about from Monday. All right, in the middle of the Venn diagram, you are explaining how they are similar. These muscles work together. How are they similar? Okay, that's comparing them. And on the outer circles, that's how they're different. They're contrasted. So skeletal is going to be different from smooth, and same with cardiac, okay, for the muscle cells. All right, so like I said, the 3 types of muscle cells: skeletal, smooth, cardiac. Okay, those are the 3 types. Those are the 3 that you're comparing. So each type of muscle is specialized for a different function. All right, so skeletal muscles. Some things about these, you can be taking some notes down, or you can be finding some of this information here too. Skeletal muscles, since this is pertaining to the project, they attach to bones is the skeletal muscle. So muscles attached to bones are skeletal. And skeletal muscles are also called voluntary muscles. And voluntary muscles means that they can be consciously controlled. I mean, thinking about them to be controlled. Okay, so note that there's a voluntary muscle and it's attached to bones. Those are some key importance for skeletal. For example, you could control whether or not you lift your leg. Okay, the contractions of the skeletal muscles can be quick and powerful, such as when you run. However, contracting these muscles for a long time can tire them and make them cramp. How many of you ever had a cramp in here before? Anybody have a cramp? We'll talk about some injuries with muscles today, or illnesses with them. So has anyone ever had a cramp before? Yeah, I've had one not too long ago. I run quite a bit, so I jog and lift weights, but I've been jogging lately since the gym's been closing. Looks like somebody has had, looks like Gus had a cramp. So when you get a cramp in your leg, it really it strains your leg. And there's a strain, and it causes a hard time to you have to relax that muscle and stretch that muscle out. Sometimes when you get a cramp, that's when you get it usually in the back of your leg or the side of your leg. Those are some areas where you get overusing that muscle. And I've been having some problems with my calf from stretching from running. I try to stretch it, but sometimes when I come back from a run, it's still sore. Okay, so that could be a strain, overusing those muscles or not stretching them properly for that. Looks like Chris has a question here. Can we print a Venn diagram for the project? Absolutely. You can print one, you can make one, you can take a picture of it, however you want to do it. Remember, there's those 3 large circles. You can Google it and probably learn what they were in other classes too. You might have done one from literature or English from maybe Mrs. Wiedemann using Venn diagrams before, so you should probably be familiar with what they are. Okay. All right, moving on with muscles and the skeletal muscles. All right, so skeletal muscles work by pulling on bones. Okay, so muscles cannot push on bones. Instead, muscles work in pairs and move the body. So that's what they do. They help move the body and they pull on the bones. All right, so some examples here. When bicep muscles contract, the muscles shorten, pulling the lower arm up. Okay, because we have a tricep and a bicep that kind of work together there. So the long, thin muscles, the long, thin skeletal muscle looks like they have stripes. Okay, these stripes are called striations. All right, within the muscle. So when the bicep muscles relax, the tricep muscles contract, and the lower arm is pulled. Okay. All right, so some other things on skeletal muscles. Your skeletal muscles can change throughout your lifetime. All right, if you exercise, you get muscles, muscle cells get larger, then your entire muscle becomes larger and stronger from exercising. Okay. All right. So, like I said, like your skeletal muscles can change throughout your lifetime, and like from working out and so on. All right. Any questions so far? All right, very good. All right, moving on. Okay. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next one is cardiac. Cardiac muscles. This is the heart, the muscle, the heart. Your heart is made of a cardiac muscle, which is found only in your heart. Okay. So cardiac muscles is found in your heart. Okay. Now this type of muscle, cardiac muscle, is a type of involuntary muscle, which means your muscle, which is your muscle you cannot consciously control. Your heart's constantly beating, right? You can't control when it's going to stop or whatnot. All right, a cardiac muscles contract and relax. They pump blood through your heart and through your vessels throughout your body. And cardiac muscles have branches, okay, with discs at the end. And these discs send signals to other cardiac muscles, okay? So the signals cause the cardiac muscle cells to contract at almost the same time. So think about relaxing and contracting when the muscle is pumping, when your heart is beating. All right, so that is the next one there. All right, so that is the cardiac muscle type of muscles there. So your heart is one of them. All right, your last group or type of muscle is called a smooth muscle. Okay, smooth muscles line your blood vessels in many of your organs. Okay, so like your stomach, your gallbladder, in general, some parts of your esophagus. Okay, blood vessels. The smooth muscles are involuntary muscles named for their smooth appearance. All right, so contraction of smooth muscles help move materials like digestion throughout your body. All right, from your stomach, such as food in your stomach. These smooth muscles also control the movement of blood through your vessels as well. Okay, so those are some areas for that, for the smooth muscles, like your digestive tract. Okay, is peristalsis. Remember, we talked about that. That's the movement of those muscles kind of moving when you swallow food and it gets pushed through. All right, that was when we learned in the digestive system. Okay, all right. What about some ways that your muscles need to have to be healthy? What are some ways that you could keep your muscles healthy? What are some ways you could keep your muscles healthy? Other than exercise, what are some other ways? Think about some things you might eat. What would we call that? Other than exercise, what are some ways that you would keep your muscles healthy? Yeah, very good, Chris. Eating healthy, having a healthy, full diet. Very good. So all of your muscles use energy when they contract. So this energy comes from the food you eat. So eating a diet full of nutrients such as proteins, fibers, and potassium could help keep muscles strong. Okay, so those are some ways that would help keep your muscles strong. Okay, excellent. There. All right. All right, so also, like I was mentioning earlier, exercise also keeps your muscles healthy. So muscle cells get weaker and smaller and weaker without exercise. So weak muscles can increase the risk of heart disease. So bone injuries can happen more often when muscles are not healthy. So joints might not be as stable when muscles are weak, smaller and weaker. So you want to keep increasing a better diet and exercise will help keep your muscles strong and healthy. Okay, very good. All right. And another important factor of the muscular system is there are many ways the muscular system helps your body maintain homeostasis. Remember, homeostasis is kind of keeping your body at regulation, at a balance. So your body temperature must stay around 37 degrees Celsius to function well. So when your muscles contract, they convert chemical energy to thermal energy, and the thermal energy um, keeps your body warm. Okay, so going on with homeostasis, when you exercise, your cells use more oxygen and release more waste, such as carbon dioxide. And the cardiac muscles in your heart help maintain homeostasis by contracting more often. All right, and then when your heart contracts faster, it pumps more blood and more oxygen is carried to the cells for homeostasis there. Okay, all right, excellent. Any questions so far? All right, excellent. All right, the next segment I'm going to go into are muscle injuries and illnesses that can happen to and around your muscles. Okay, The first thing I was going to talk about is one called a strain. A strain is a tearing or stretching of muscle fibers as they are suddenly pulled apart. Okay, like I was telling you, I was jogging, even jogged yesterday in the evening, and from running, I had a strain on my calf. My back, left calf starts to get sore when I run. Usually, when I come back from my run, sometimes it gets sore in the middle of my run. Where I have to stop, stretch it out, and maybe walk on it for a little bit because I'm overusing that muscle. Okay, so it's a tearing or stretching of the muscle fibers that are suddenly getting pulled apart. Sometimes it could be from dehydration, not drinking enough water. Mm, treatments of strains. What I haven't done. I sometimes I'll take like Advil or Aleve. You could take that, but you could apply an ice pack to an affected area as well if it's a strain on your arm or leg or so on. Okay. I mentioned this one earlier too was a cramp. All right, a cramp is an uncontrolled or prolonged contraction of a muscle accompanied by pain. Usually, it's like you'll see athletes get this. Some soccer players or football players in the middle of the field, they'll just go right down on their back, and they'll have to have a trainer come out and stretch their leg out because they pulled a cramp or their muscles are they're constantly contracting and they can't control that contraction. So, and it's usually pretty painful when they have to go down on the ground and usually have to work that cramp out. Sometimes it is from dehydration or overusing that muscle too from a cramp. So it's actually built up from lactic acid in the muscle during immediately after strenuous exercise. So that would be some of the things that help that brings on a cramp by the lactic acid. And it is also caused by a lack of oxygen in the muscle due to poor blood circulation when in awkward sitting positions too. So sometimes if you sit too long, that's why it's good up to move around. I know we're at home a lot lately now, so it's good to get up out of your seat, stretch your legs, move around, just because we're not meant to be sitting all the time, right? We have to be in motion at times too. So just think about if us in the classroom, you don't just sit the whole entire time. We got to have you guys get up and do certain things, and keep your bodies that active as well too. Okay, so so again, sitting in awkward positions can cause poor blood circulation and that lack of oxygen and with there too. All right. So treatment of cramps, you might want to massage that affected area, usually the back of a leg muscle, like a hamstring or a calf as well too. So massage does help those as well. All right, a bruise. Anyone ever have a bruise in here before? Was another illness or type of pain with related to the muscular system? A bruise. Has anyone have had a bruise in here? Maybe you could share one with me. All right, Chris, tell me what kind of bruise you had. Maybe from playing sports. What did you get bruised from? Anyone want to share anything there? Okay, so I'll tell you what a bruise is while you are thinking of some. Maybe you have had a cramp or a bruise or a strain. If you could think of any of those ones and you can share something with me there, that'll be good to have some interaction with you guys there. So, a bruise is a discoloration of the muscle. Black and blue spots caused by the blood from an injured muscle, usually, is what the bruise is from. Okay, so it could be from a ball, a hockey puck. Actually, I had a bruise years ago from a hockey puck. Came up, hit me right under the eye, gave me a black eye. Okay, so playing hockey. It looks like Chris had a bruise on his leg from sports, maybe playing soccer or football, maybe there, Chris. I'm assuming. Okay, a pretty physical contact sport. All right, so like I said, I got hit with a puck right under my eye for hockey and had a black eye from that. So a bruise can definitely it affects the blood vessels underneath the muscle there. Okay. So some treatments of bruises is cold compress to prevent swelling, to ease the pain. So you put ice, okay, on my black eye. That's what I remember doing, or something cold. Okay. All right. All right, next I'm going to talk about are some diseases or disorders with muscles and tendons. You might have heard of this one before. It's called tendinitis. Okay, tendinitis is an inflammation or swelling of the tendons, specifically in the knees, heels, shoulders, elbows. Okay, it's an inflammation. Okay, type of inflammation means it kind of gets warm, it gets hot. You need to get possibly some ice on that as well too. And there's certain types of medicines too for tendinitis. Okay. All right, so that's one of them there is tendinitis. All right, so doctors use what they call inflammatory drugs to cure tendinitis there too. All right, any questions here? Yeah, Chris was playing soccer there on that. So yes, so soccer or any physical sports would cause that. All right, another one of an illness is called trigger finger. Okay, what that is a sheath around the tendon that becomes swollen. So the fingers become swollen. So a lot of people's knuckles kind of become, dismantled a little bit. They're kind of like almost like a type of arthritis from the tendons from overuse there of what trigger finger is. Okay, they call that one trigger finger. All right, it's because the finger unlocks, it pops back suddenly in the releasing of a trigger like a gun. Okay, it's kind of how that gets the name for him. So it's called trigger finger because the finger unlocks. All right, and it pops back suddenly. All right, and it's as it releases a trigger on a gun. So that's kind of how it gets that name. All right, so that's one there. Okay, and that could be to be treated for trigger finger. It could be treated with what they call steroid injection, corticosteroid injection will help that out. Okay. All right. Operations or other types of illnesses that are affecting to the muscular system there too. So operations could be where really wide and vague of specific kind. All right. Infections. All right. Affecting muscle tissue could be one there too. One that was that caused a lot of death were people that that were in the military in Vietnam, and they call that one gangrene. Might have heard that before. Some of the older veterans in the military, and especially that fought in Vietnam, they came back from the war, and it was an infection. It was the death of muscle tissue due to bacterial infection or absence of the blood supply. Okay, so a lot of those guys were in the jungle for long periods of time. They were in the same boots. Okay, and so they became. It was hard to change them out when they're in rough environments like that. So, yeah. All right, let's see. We have a question here. It looks like I want to say Samuel. Sam, I'm not sure your question here. How long do we have to write the difference? I don't know what that means. You just got to do a comparison there, Sam. All right, you just got to do um, you have to do a Venn diagram. You're not required to write a paragraph or anything like that. You are comparing and contrasting smooth, skeletal, and cardiac muscle cells. Okay, hopefully that helps. All right, Chris, you can pop on out if you have to go. All right. Any other questions you may have? I'll be back on at 1 o'clock. I'll be back. I'll still be on here for a little bit more time. All right. So, any other questions you may have, you can shoot me a message on Teams or email. All right. Continuing on with infections here. Okay, that was mentioned in one called gangrene, where it destroys your muscle tissue. It's a bacterial infection, usually around your feet. All right, so unfortunately, treatment for gangrene, um, since it's an infection that can get spread throughout your body, a lot of times, a lot of these soldiers that came back from Vietnam had to have a limb removed. So cut off your leg or arm so that doesn't spread throughout your body. Okay, so that's what that is for that one. Tumors, all right, are another type of muscle, is an abnormal mass of tissue. Usually occurs, it can happen in men and women, sometimes more common in women. So tumors are another type of illness that's from a mass of tissue that's usually around a muscle. Okay, so operation to have them moved, depending if it's malignant or benign, for that, for a tumor. So those are some types of illnesses there. Okay, and last few I'm going to talk about one is called muscular dystrophy. All right, so it's an inherited muscle disorder in which the muscles slowly become weak. It's pretty sad since some of these people they're stuck in their lives to a wheelchair. So they're inherited muscle disorder in which the muscles slowly become weak. Okay, so that's what those are, what that means there too. Okay, so muscular dystrophies are characterized by progressive skeletal muscle weakness, defects in muscle proteins, and the death of muscle cells and tissues. So some treatments for muscular dystrophy. There is no known cure for muscular dystrophy. However, they should not be allowed to get overweight because they will make their conditions worse. Okay, so overeating or anything like that, which would be considered one. Okay, all right, so that covers everything on muscle illnesses, the types of muscles, and everything like that. So do we have any questions in here so far about the project? No brain pop due this week. Um, all projects and all assignments are due by Friday, so make sure everything is complete by Friday. Those are the brain pops of past lessons. There's about 12 assignments. I want to say, just to be on here, just to let you know, I believe there are 12 assignments that were given. Yep, 12 assignments, and then this will be number 13. Okay, so you have 13 assignments for this quarter. Those are some of the projects and brain pops that were assigned over this course of the fourth quarter. Okay, so 13 assignments. Make sure that they are all finished. You'll have till Friday to get those in. Any other questions that you may have pertaining to this project here, you may ask. Like I said, there's no brain pop. Anything on muscle cells, the muscular system, hopefully watch the video that Mr. Canelu and I put out. If anyone wants to partake in some question and answers, I'll be more than happy to ask you guys some questions. For those that are still in here that want to continue on. Okay, any other questions that you may have for those that are still remaining in here on the muscular system? I covered everything you need to know on that. Venn diagram project due Friday, comparing and contrasting skeletal, smooth, and um, cardiac muscle cells. Okay, any other questions on muscular system here? Anybody still in here can say hello. What are you doing this weekend or doing this week? Anyone have anything fun planned? Looks like I only have 3 people in here. You want to say something? Had a lot of participation early, so I don't know who's still in here right now. Well, I guess I only have down to 2 people in here. If anyone wants to say hello, any questions that you may have on the muscular system and project due Friday, along with all other missing work that you may have. Okay, I guess I'm down to 1 person, so I am going to sign off. If there's no other questions, I will be back on today at 1 o'clock to go over similar things and over the project or questions that you may have for the project. So check in with me there. You can always message me on Microsoft Teams and or email. So that's checking that constantly throughout the day and responding back to your requests. So um, 13 assignments for this quarter, so make sure you are keeping up with that. It's a mixture between projects and brain pop quizzes. So make sure you've been following along to um, the videos that we put out weekly with Mr. Candlew and I. These segments that I talk about each of the body systems here too, and along with the brain pops, okay, where there's a video, quiz, and even vocabulary to practice on there too. So make sure you're keeping up with that. Hopefully everyone's doing well. You're keeping safe, getting outside and exercising. Since we're talking about muscular system, it's important to keep a healthy diet, keep emotion, keep movement. Don't be just sitting in one place all day. So make sure you are getting the exercise that you need to be healthy there too, to keep your immune system up, work your muscles, work your skeletal system, although all the ones that we've been talking about, digestive, circulatory, respiratory, is all very important. Time that we're going through here, being safe and being healthy and keeping ourselves healthy. Um, so make sure you're keeping up with that. So hopefully you are and you're staying safe. And hopefully we'll see you guys soon. Before you know it, summer will be here, and we'll be starting back again in August. So hopefully that'll be we'll be able to see each other by August. All right, guys, I'm gonna be signing off for right now. Again, I'll be back on at 1 o'clock this afternoon. Have a good rest of your day. All right, talk to you later, guys. Bye.